Hey guys, welcome to another mega review. This time for the Christopher Nolan highly anticipated Dunkirk. It's a World War II epic about these Belgium, British, and French soldiers that were surrounded by German forces and sent to evacuate, and later on evacuated and went back home and stuff like that. And it was a very well made, very well done movie that I really enjoyed. I'm a history buff, so I like these kind of films, these kind of World War II stuff like that. But I will say though that now that I've given you guys the plot and all that, that's all I want to give you guys, because this is a film you want to experience. This is a very experiential type of movie. I will say though that there are still a lot of problems that I will get into, but first I'm going to start out with the good, then I'm going to get into my bad stuff. The good stuff in this is that it's so well shot. If you have an IMAX theater that is near you, go and watch this in IMAX, because this thing is beautiful. It's meant to be seen on the biggest screen possible. I didn't get to see it on the biggest screen possible because where I live we don't have an IMAX. So I didn't get to see it in IMAX, but with booming speakers and all that, it would be so perfect. Just the planes coming in, just booming on top of you, you know, having all the gunfire, all that. It's just it would be like watching an IMAX would be like you would be in it. You'd be in the war, and that's what this movie is. This movie, a lot of people have overhyped this film, calling it the best war movie ever made, you know, best film of the year, best Nolan movie ever. It's none of those things. It's really good, but it's none of those things. This film is an experiential film that really does well on tension, really does well on making you feel like you're in it, but it never once actually gets to that point of this is the best in its genre, you know? So, like, I have to say, though, that, like, the cinematography, like, from a technical standpoint, this is one of the best films of the year. From a technical standpoint, the cinematography in this film, the way Christopher Nolan shoots it, you're like, the way the screen will turn like this as you're flying, as the planes are flying and everything, it'll turn like that, and you'll feel like you're there in the plane with them. And sometimes I felt like I was wearing like a VR headset as I was watching. I was like, this is incredible. And then some of the other, like the sound editing and sound mixing, like I said, the speakers, the gunfire, there'd be moments of silence. And it would just, boom, fire. And it was so intense, so just crazy. The music, the score. Okay, so like Hans Zimmer, a lot of people also overhype it, saying this is Hans Zimmer's best work ever. It's not. It's a really good score. A really good score. I liked it, but it's not his best work. I can't tell you that I would actually come into this score and like remember it. I wouldn't be able to hum it in my head. I wouldn't be able to tell you what scene, what was in, and stuff like that. With The Dark Knight and with Interstellar and scores like that, I can tell you exactly what scene that score fit into, you know? And with this one, I can't. So that's one downside for me and as far as the score. But the score, though, itself, though, makes the film more of an experience, because it sounds like almost something unnatural, like a machine, something like that, and it makes it, the tension build higher. The only song that I know is like, and it like does that, and your heart's like pounding out of your chest as you're watching all this stuff happen. And so that score was really effective there. I still think War for the Planet of the Apes had the better composition, like the better score overall. But this was still a very well done, very well effective. If it wanted to get nominated for best score, I wouldn't be upset, is what I'm saying. War for the Planet of the Apes, though, is the one that like deserves to win the Oscar for that. And that's another thing too, is everyone's saying this will win Oscars and all that stuff. It's not an Oscar-worthy film, except for from technical standpoints. Sound editing, sound mixing, cinematography, stuff like that. That is where it where it truly shines. You know, Christopher Nolan as the director truly shines, giving us a very well directed film. But the thing is, though, is that this film is, to me, seems to be more about style and less about substance. It's more style over substance. And what I mean by that is that there's hardly any dialogue in this film. It's literally just there to make you be in the war. You're literally there just to be in it, you know? So there's barely any dialogue. And whenever there is dialogue, they're like, will be pilots speaking in their masks or whatever, and they'll be like, oh yes, I'm Bane, flying a plane, that's my name. You know, like, stuff like that. So, I could barely understand a word they said whenever there's dialogue. I'm like, what, huh? I know this is important, what are you saying, what, huh? Stuff like that. It really bugged me on that aspect. I mean, everyone gave great performances. That was good, you know. Did what they needed to. Except Harry Styles. I mean, he was good, but I felt also at the same time he could have been better. I don't know. He's that guy from One Direction. All you ladies know him. Yeah. But yeah, this film, from a story standpoint, from a character standpoint, doesn't work. And what I mean by that is that I never thought, and guys, before I go into this next part, I just want to let you guys know, because a lot of other critics have been getting bashed for sharing their true opinions. This is my true opinion, okay? And if you don't like it, then I'm sorry, but this is my opinion, and I'm entitled to my opinion, and no, this movie isn't perfect. This movie isn't the god of all movies like you guys think it is, all right? I'm not speaking to all you guys. My subscribers who will respect my opinion, all that, all you guys are awesome. I'm just speaking to anybody who would complain about my opinion, all right? I just wanted to throw that out there because a lot of stuff has been happening about that lately. But what I was getting back into, though, is that story-wise and character-wise, this does not work. And what I mean by that is that I never once felt attached to any of the characters. You know? The development could have been a lot stronger. There was like no character development. There's one family that was on a boat that was rescuing a few of the soldiers. They were like the only people that were like developed that I actually like cared about, you know? No one else, I was like, okay, what's their name? I could only tell you two people's names. A pilot from named Collins, and one of the father's sons named George. That's it. Okay, this is a film representing these heroes at Dunkirk who have survived, who laid down their lives, who did all this stuff. And I want to be able to tell you guys about those heroes, tell you guys their names, be like, yeah, that dude did really, really great. Just like Desmond Doss from Hacksaw Ridge. You know, Desmond Doss. They developed him. I knew his name really well. He's a war hero, you know? So I can share people about Desmond Doss. I can share with you guys one thing about any of these people because I don't know their names. If Christopher Nolan spent, it's an hour and 46 minutes. If he spent just a little bit more time, maybe a 2-hour movie, maybe a 2-hour and 10-minute movie, it's a war epic. It's not supposed to be that short, Nolan. If he spent a little bit more time developing his characters, I would have appreciated this film a lot more for what it is. Because then I would have been able to get attached to the characters. Was I still on the edge of my seat when they were near death? Yes, I was, because it was so well directed that he made those scenes really work. But at the same time, though, I was on the edge of my seat, and I'm like, I don't know you, but I'm kind of scared for you, you know, type thing like that. But I wanted to get to know these people. I wanted to know, like, who they were, all this stuff, you know? And they were just there to be there. This whole movie is literally just a war scene. And I understand Nolan said he wanted this to be an experiential film. The thing is, though, is when you're doing that, you have high risks. Really, really high risks of, you know, lack of character development, lack of story, all that stuff. You want you to feel like you're in it. And I'm like, yes, but then you fall into this thing of style over substance. And I agree with the experiential factor, but spend just a few minutes developing each character, so then you will actually come to be attached and love each character that's in this film. And I would also have to say another bad thing is that I talked about the characters, but the story as well. The story of Dunkirk is really, really well. That's a positive. The thing is, though, is that it's split up into three stories, three entirely different stories, and so it's very like convoluted, sort of. Not convoluted. It's more of like there's three different things happening all at once. So you'll be in one story, and then it'll bounce to another story, and then it'll bounce to another story. It's kind of hard to understand. It's sort of confusing at parts. You have to really, really pay close attention because that's how all Nolan films work, and I understand that. But like for a war film, I'm like, you're making this kind of difficult to even comprehend and understand. Like that's kind of strange. But that's nothing that really ever took me out of it, of course. But that's just one thing that I thought felt kind of odd, But yeah, overall though, my negatives of this film would have to be that lack of character development, because there was like barely any at all. The fact you couldn't hear like anything that the people were saying, and then some of the decisions that were made, stuff like that. It's not a perfect film like everyone states it out to be. This is my opinion, guys, and it's not the best Nolan movie ever. Okay, I'm going to tell you guys that whenever I do my list of Nolan films, but I'm going to give you guys that tomorrow. But it's still a very good film. I still really loved it. It's still really great. I rate it high because of the technical factor and how well it's directed and how well it's made from a technical standpoint. So because of that, I give it a high score. I'm going to give this film an 8.8 out of 10. It could be a 10, not a 10, it could be a 9 out of 10 if I went to maybe go see it in IMAX, because I didn't really get that experience. But maybe if I go in IMAX, then I might be able to bump it up to a 9. But just because of the disappointments, I can't get it up there to a 9, so I have to do 8.8 out of 10. So a really great film, guys. This is actually one of my least favorite Nolan films, but that doesn't mean anything. All of his films are great. I love every single one of his films, but this is one of my least favorites. If you're a history buff, though, I think you'll like it. So I recommend it if you're a fan of Nolan, if you're a fan of history, if you're a fan of these type of war movies, I recommend it. So go out and see it this weekend. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Anyways, that'll do it for my review, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. There's nothing to spoil here, so this isn't spoiler-ish at all. So, but I really hope you enjoy my review, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, whatever your heart desires. And also make sure you're following me on my Facebook page, Mega Movies, spelled exactly the same way as this is. And also, I'm trying to get that more up. Also follow me on Twitter, which is @moviesmega, which is weird because I typed in Mega Movies the same way here, and it says @moviesmega. But, like, whatever, Twitter's weird. Make sure you're also following me on Twitter. You probably could just type in Mega Movies the same way you see here, and you'll find me. But, yeah, follow me on those platforms, guys, and make sure you go out and see Dunkirk this weekend. It's a great film. I think you guys will enjoy it, all right? Later, guys. Until next time. Bye-bye.